New this morning, the Outsiders House Museum and Danny Boy O'Connor are presenting a behind-the-scenes photo book showcasing unpublished photographs shot by Nancy Moran during the filming of the 1983 movie. Joining us live in the FOX23 studio, our good friend, Outsiders House Museum Executive Director Danny Boy O'Connor.
Good morning.
Thanks as always for being with us. Hey, tell us about this. We were looking through this just a minute ago. Some really cool behind-the-scenes photos.
It's super exciting. This is our second book. This photographer is Nancy Moran. She was on Apocalypse Now on set when they were filming and overseas with Coppola, and then she came here to Tulsa in '82 to do this. This book is different than the first book. The first book was more like money shots and, you know, the ones that would have been used for posters and promo and all of that stuff. This book is a very sophisticated, intimate look, if you will. A lot of black and white film. She wasn't taking photos necessarily that the movie studios needed or could use. She was more doing documentary type of work, and it just gives a whole other vibe to this. So this is the second book. It's called On Set. It was all filmed here and on location in Tulsa or in the surrounding areas, Owasso and whatnot. And it's just exciting to get our hands on this. Most of them have never been seen before. Maybe a handful of them have been published, but it's really a vault of a treasure trove, if you will, of unseen work. So if you love The Outsiders, you're gonna love this book. And yeah, it seems like all I keep hearing about is outsiders, 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 and that's a good thing.
There you go. And we were looking at some of these pictures. You were talking about, there was a photo specifically of Tom Cruise messing with a hula hoop.
Yeah.
You were talking about, that's not something that people will ever see again.
Yeah, so I think, you know, I know a little bit about Hollywood, coming from Hollywood, and I know when you do a movie, you go straight to your trailer, you get called out to do a scene, you go back to your trailer, and then Uber takes you to the hotel, or the driver was. This is a different era. These actors were all on set, no matter if they were in that scene or not. The one you're talking about in particular has Tom Cruise with the hula hoop, and he's working with Emilio Estevez and Buddy Joe Hooker, who was the stunt director of all of that stuff. They were practicing for the Rumble, so they had him doing somersaults and all kinds of acrobatics in a school gym, and it's just an intimate look. She had unfettered access to these future stars, and being Coppola's, you know, friend, they all treated her, you know, as you would treat anybody who was in his covenant. And these are like a fly on the wall type of point of view. I kid you not when I tell you that if you love The Outsiders, your mind's going to get blown about what we have in this book. It's an honor to be able to, you know, be the custodian and put this into a book and offer it to the fans. So I'm a #1 fan, as you can imagine, so I've been looking through it over and over and over. 264 photos.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a big book.
Where have these been hiding?
Well, they're not here yet, so this is the first one.
The actual
on their
photos.
Way. Oh, the photos were hiding in her collection, and we reached out to her via email years ago, and she was either smart enough or silly enough to send me her complete archive, knowing nothing about me when we were still working on the museum. And she said, please FedEx them back to me when you're done. And we were like, wow. So I took them here, took them to a local film place here. I don't want to say which one because they might have still on their hard drive. I don't want those to leak out. But they scanned them and made copies for us, and then we FedExed them back to her. And a few years later, you know, it took a few years for us to get up and running and going. But it's been about 5 or 6 years now, and we finally made a deal and said, listen, it's time for this to be a book. And it's perfect timing with what's going on in Broadway and the Outsiders, the musical. What an incredible success they've been having. Nominated for 12 Tony Awards.
Right.
I mean, what? Like, we saw it a couple weeks ago. It was fantastic. So right now, Tulsa's on everybody's tongue, and The Outsiders is leading the charge for that, as always. And so I'm very happy to have this, and the timing couldn't have been better.
And of course, this will make a perfect pairing with the other book that came out.
So
how long has that been now? A year ago?
About a year and a half ago. Yeah, we did one with David Burnett, who is also, he's the one who did all the posters and all of the beautiful shots. His completely two different styles. And it's definitely a companion to, they complement each other for sure. So we're taking pre-orders now on theoutsiders.com. You can find that, or on social media, The Outsiders House. We're taking pre-orders. They should ship in a month or so, and we're getting a lot of dual orders for both books. So it's an incredible, like I said, it shows Tulsa in 1982 in a way you know you'll never forget.
Very cool stuff. As always, thanks, sir.
I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you being on. Outsiders on Set, $65. Visit the Outsiders House Facebook page to find the link for that purchase. Pre-orders are expected to ship later this month.